We have a special guest for you right now. The best guest in the whole world that we could have right now. A day that I am fighting for my life. Donald Trump. Welcome to the Savage Nation, Mr. Trump. What a day it is.
It's been great, Michael. We've had a good day, I will tell you.
Well, I don't want to talk about me, but Donald, this is such a big story. Did you see the email that was released over the weekend by WikiLeaks where Hillary Clinton refused to intervene on my being banned in Britain?
That I haven't seen. I saw the one with the FBI, where the FBI is in cahoots with the Department of State, State Department, and with Justice Department. That is a big story, I guess.
Donald, this was on the Drudge Report for 24 hours. One of the WikiLeaks releases showed an email with her name on it from Hillary Clinton at the time saying she was not going to intervene to get my name off the banned list to Cheryl Mills. This is major league, Donald, but it's so tied into what you represent. I say it's life under Trump and death under Clinton, and I mean the death of our First and Second Amendments for sure. Mr. Trump, you are the only thing we have left between us and pure anarchy.
Well, it's going very well. I guess polls just came out from CNN an hour ago, and they have us up by 4 in Ohio and doing really well everywhere. And this despite the press that's horrible, phony. They print lies. They want to put lies on all the time, and you see it better than anybody. They have stories that are fabricated, and they put them on the front page of total lies that they're willing to print on the front page of newspapers. And despite
Donald, where did they get all of these tarts from? Where do these tarts come from?
Michael, there's a backlash like I've never seen before. I just heard from Mike Pence. He said there's a backlash like he's never seen. People know it's all phony stuff. And that's why I say the election's rigged. It's rigged by the media. They're willing to put front page stories on that are lies, and the elections are rigged by the media. And by the way, they're also, if you look at the polls and the polling places in various cities, they're also rigged in the cities. Let's not kid ourselves, in different places.
Well, Donald, we know that, and here's the nightmare that I see. Here we are on the verge of war with Russia because of the insane policies of Hillary Clinton, who called him Hitler, Barack Obama, who called him every name under the sun, who wants a war with him in Syria. We see war drums being beaten by even the likes of Joseph Biden. You have said you'd like to do a deal with Putin and make peace. How is it that the party of leftists wants war, Mr. Trump?
Well, they're incompetent people. Obama's an incompetent as a president, and Hillary Clinton is beyond that. Look, they made an agreement on nuclear warheads. Russia now has gotten so far ahead of us in the nuclear capacity that they better be careful what they wish for. In fact, one of the top people in Russia said, I can't believe the agreement we made. You know what I'm talking about. I can't believe the agreement we made. They didn't even ask us for anything. They asked us not to reduce anything. So we're way behind in so many different ways, and we have very, very incompetent people leading us. And she talks tough with Russia. She shouldn't be talking so tough. She ought to know what she's doing. And frankly, if we got along with Russia and knocked out ISIS, that would be a good thing, not a bad thing.
Correct. Mr. Trump, look at these headlines. Russia orders all officials to fly home. Any relatives living abroad as tensions mount over the prospect of a global war. CNN, Russia-U.S. move past Cold War to unpredictable confrontation. Nuclear war imminent as Russia tells citizens to find out where the closest bunkers are. And this low-grade media of submoronic idiots running in the media are talking about some tart who says you accidentally brushed against her on an airplane 20 years ago? What kind of world are we living in, Donald?
Which, by the way, didn't exist. They were made-up stories, totally made up. And it's disgusting, and you're right. And now, whenever there's anything with Russia, they say, oh, well, Russia loves Donald Trump, and Putin loves Donald Trump. And they insult him constantly. I mean, no wonder he can't stand Obama and Hillary Clinton. But it is a very serious problem. I think it's the worst. It's the worst situation we've had with Russia since the end of the Cold War, by far.
Donald, here's what scares me as a talk show host. You know that I've studied the news, and I do nothing but the news day and night. I do nothing else. What they're setting you up for is that if you win the election, which could happen, by the way, you're not out yet at all. They're trying to discourage Republicans and conservatives from voting, in my opinion, because they know that you're ahead in the polls. Their own internal polls are showing you surging. They're setting it up so that if you win, this illegitimate government will claim that the Russians hacked the election and it is an illegitimate election, Donald. That's what I see coming. Do you agree with that possibility?
Well, I think this. I do think we're probably ahead because we have tremendous enthusiasm. Our people are going to all vote, and I think a lot of people, for instance, I think we're going to do very well with African Americans. I think we're going to do very well with Hispanics, Latinos. I think we're going to do very well in a lot of different ways, and I think we are ahead in the polls. And our people have enthusiasm. They're going to vote, whereas her people, they're very worried. For instance, I'm going now I'm going to Wisconsin. We have a huge crowd. I'm going tomorrow to Colorado. We have a tremendous crowd. I'm going to Ohio and Florida, and we have 20, 25, 30,000 people all the time. She can't get 500 people into a room. It's crazy.
I know that. Look, Donald, listen, how would you diffuse the situation now between Russia and the U.S., assuming the world doesn't blow up before January? What would you do if you were president? First day, what would you do with Putin to stop these war drums?
Well, the problem is Putin has no respect for Obama at all, doesn't like him and doesn't respect him, and Obama doesn't like Putin, but they have a great dislike for each other, and Putin has no respect at all for Obama, and I think that you have potentially a really catastrophic situation here. I'll be honest with you, because those two are not. I will say this: if I win on November 8th, and hopefully every one of your listeners is going to go out, we're going to need everybody.
Absolutely.
So Republicans have a tougher path, you know that, to get there.
Yes.
But
yes.
If I win on November 8th, I think I could see myself meeting with Putin and meeting with Russia prior to the start of the administration. I think it would be
wow. That's an amazing news story. That's fabulous, Mr. Trump. That's an amazing answer, because somebody, an adult, has to step in now and stop this insanity. We are dealing with the most powerful nuclear foe on the planet. While Obama, as you said, has denuked us, Russia's been building up their nuclear forces. It puts us in a very bad situation. So that's, to me, the number one thing is national security. There's so many other things that you need to do when you are president. But before you go, Donald, listen, this is very important. I have seen this, and I think you just hinted at it. The whole election hinges on turnout. That is why the media is trying to make people think you've already lost the election. It's not so much to encourage the Hillary voters, it's to discourage the Trump voters, who should throw their hands up and say, we can't win. That's the worst thing that could happen. Their internal polls, according to my analysis, shows that they're in deep trouble. And they are desperate to get the voter turnout. But we need to keep the voter turnout up even higher than she does.
Well, I think their polls are showing that our people are going to turn out, and they're very worried about it, because nobody cares about Hillary Clinton. And Obama's people aren't going to. African Americans are not showing up to vote for Hillary Clinton. They like me better than they like her. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to do a better job, and certainly with the inner cities and all of these problems that they've been lying about for years, Clinton and the Democrats. And I think we're going to do great with the African Americans. But I'll tell you this, just in a nutshell, they are very worried that their people aren't going to turn out. That's what and they know my people are turning out.
Donald, this Wednesday is the last of 3 debates. You won the last debate. I watched every minute of it. They never thought you were going to come back. You were doing a rope-a-dope on them, and you cut the legs out from under her when she threw that line at you, and she said, it's a good thing a man like him isn't president, and you shot back, or you'd be in jail. That turned the whole debate. What are you going to do this Wednesday if Meatloaf Jr. tries to set you up? Because Murdoch himself has advised all of them to back Hillary Clinton. What are you going to do when Meatloaf Jr. goes after you?
Well, we're going to find out what's going to happen. I mean, the first debate, I think we did very well. We had a very faulty microphone, as you know, and they even officially announced it, which was absolutely outrageous. There's a whole thing going on there, too. But I think we're going to do very well in the debate. I understand the subject matter very well. I don't think she does. I think she, frankly, is a highly overrated intellect. She does not understand the subject. You look at the decisions she's made over the years, every one of them virtually has been a wrong decision, whether it's Syria, Libya. I mean, just look at what she's done, including when she was the senator from New York. She said she was going to bring jobs back to upstate. Well, you know what happened. It turned out to be a disaster. So the bottom line, I think, I look forward to the debate. I think we're going to do very well. I understand the subject matter very, very well, and I'm representing a lot of people.
Donald, last point. Did you know Mike Wallace at all? I'm sure you knew him well.
Very well. He did me on 60 Minutes. He was terrific.
Here's my suggestion. Don't even answer me because I don't know if you can. If his son, who I call Meatloaf Jr. for internal reasons, it's a joke because his father was a famous meatloaf eater. If Meatloaf Jr., who's a sneak in my opinion, don't answer me, tries to set you up the way Snow White did during the primaries, all you got to do is say to him, your father, Mike Wallace, would never have stooped to your low level. You will put him on the defensive because he is probably living in his father's shadow.
Well, I understand. I just hope he's going to be fair. And, I didn't think they were fair with me the last debate, and I hit back at him pretty hard. I hope they're going to be fair, Michael.
We hope so, and we're all rooting for you. We know we won't hear from you until way after the debate, but just know that every listener to this show, and that ranges in the millions around the country on the Internet and otherwise, this is the #1 talk radio show in America on the Internet, Donald, and all of them are interested in everything that you have to say because it comes down to this. Life under Trump, death under Clinton. It's absolutely life and death in terms of our First and Second Amendments at the very least. So we all are rooting for you, Donald, and we wish you the best this Wednesday and thereafter.
Thank you, Michael. Great honor, and I will see you soon, and we'll speak to you sooner than you think, okay?
I have that umbrella ready for the inauguration.
Very good. You have a deal. You'll be there.
All right. Good luck, Donald. We're all rooting for you.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE.